Good morning, everyone. It's time for another Vesperisms Insta-Live. I want to know when you join. I'm going to wait a couple minutes for people to join, but I would like to know if you can hear the audio. It looks like my mic is lighting up, but last week I forgot to use the mic, and so I'm just hoping that you can hear me. So if you can, just leave me a comment that you can actually hear the audio on this. So I'm going to just wait a little while, not too much longer, before people join. Hi to those of you who are coming in. Just let me know you can hear the audio, okay? My mic is lighting up. It looks responsive, but I just want to be sure because I don't always remember to use the mic. So can any of you comment to me? Just let me know that you hear it. And we'll get started in just a few seconds here. Thanks for jumping in so early on a Tuesday morning. Hey, Marzuki. Okay, the thumbs up, I'm guessing, means that you can hear. Okay. I've got Orlando Gibbons playing in the background. Oh, clap your hands together. Lovely little bit of early English music as I'm writing a book set in a fictional England of the 14th century, so that's pretty fun. And I'll just give you a little glimpse here of my studio, which is definitely becoming like a beautiful mind. So I've got quite a bit going on here. I've got plot maps all over the frickin' place. Inspirational artwork and some of my own artwork, sketches and things that I'm working on. So let's turn this back around here and get set up. Okay. So thanks to you guys who are here with me, and let's get started. So first of all, I want to let you know that I'm on Patreon, which is a platform where you can support the artists that you know and love and care about to help me with things like my book tour and certain expenses that I have related to promoting What the Night Sings and getting it out there, especially to young people and students. It's really important, the conversations that we're having with that we're having as facilitators and students, and it's just going amazingly well. So if you would like to join me on Patreon, just go to patreon.com and look up Vesper Stamper or Vesper Illustration, and you'll find me there. Today is my brother's birthday, so happy birthday to Bernard Braun, brother extraordinaire, who I was not very kind to growing up, but it's his birthday, so I'm hollering at him. And my friend Mike Malbrough, who shares a birthday with my brother, so happy birthday to Mike, my fellow illustrator and friend. I'm excited about this new Instagram TV channel, IGTV, so I'll be putting these videos there. And yeah, so look for more of that. So they won't just live here in the live. You'll be able to watch them archived. Thanks. You'll be able to watch them archived, later on. Okay, so last week was really fun because What the Night Sings was named one of Amazon's best books of the year in young adult. So I was in this little group with Tony Adeyemi, who wrote Children of Blood and Bone, and anytime you can be in a list with someone like that, it's a real honor and privilege. So yeah, it was one of Amazon's best of the year so far, and also got a great review in the Jewish Exponent, so look those up. Those are all on my website. I always put up interviews and reviews and stuff on my website. Okay, and last bit of little news is, before we get to our content today, the last little bit of news is that I am hosting a giveaway, and this isn't just any giveaway, guys. We have created a literary box. So you know those cool literary boxes like Owl Crate or Minx Lit or one of those that are just so incredible, Fairy Loot. I don't know, any of those. They're so great. Well, I've put together my own. Now, I'm not getting into the literary box business, so don't get too excited, but it's got so much great stuff in it. So stay tuned. I'll be announcing that this coming week. And so I'll just tell you who has joined me on this. Illustrator Steve Light has joined this literary box. Cageless Birds, who makes just amazing handcrafted, beautiful artisan wear, and not clothing wares, and Wax and Wayne Candles, who I burn wax and wane candles all day long. They are brilliant. So I'm so excited for this giveaway. So I'll tell you how that all works and give you the rules and all this coming week. Okay? All right. So let's get to our content. So this week is a little tough. I think you could probably guess that since I wrote a book about the post-Holocaust period, I talk about some tough stuff. You can't kind of avoid it when you're talking about the subject. And just what you want on a morning commute, or when you're getting ready for work, or you're getting your kids out the door to school, I'm going to bring up the words today, Israel and Palestine. Now, I am sure that there are bound to be some opinions and some questions as I talk about this, and you are absolutely welcome to ask me or share with me your opinions in the comments. Just please go ahead. I don't pretend to be an expert in this area whatsoever. It is obviously a very emotional topic, but I am not pretending to be an expert. Many do put themselves forward as experts. That's up to them. I try to be as apolitical as I can and get what I can of the facts without getting emotional. And because this is part of what I do as a writer of historical fiction. And so I'm doing my best to try to get to the facts without giving way to being emotional. So since growing up, we didn't talk about Israel much in my home. And across the street, we had neighbors who were Palestinian, and we were pretty much adopted by them. My siblings and I, we were like part of their family. We practically lived there. So I don't consider myself to have much of a dog in this fight. Really, my focus is on human beings, and anything that denigrates the image of God in another person, to me, that's the matter to be resisted. So whatever side you're talking about, I try not to take sides in this issue. But what I will say on the record is that I support the right of the State of Israel to exist. The alternative isn't really realistic. There is no, there is no tearing down of the State of Israel. It exists. It's a country with, 6 or 8 million people at this point. It's not going to cease to exist. So, and I do vehemently oppose the BDS movement, or the boycott, divest, and sanction movement, because I believe that it has real effects on the ground for Palestinian people who have very high unemployment. And so us boycotting, divesting, and sanctioning Israeli businesses or universities, this doesn't help the people on the ground. And it also doesn't take into account Israelis who are trying to live normal daily lives that are informed by Jewish ethics. I also do not believe that the Palestinian leadership has its people's best interests at heart. But this is, we can all do this. We can all let a principle or a system get ahead of our love for our fellow human beings. Any of us can do that. I mean, think of how many times in your life you've lost a friendship over a principle when you cease to see the other person as they really are. And really, when we let go of that love for our fellow human beings, any of us can be capable of even untold horror. I mean, any of us. This is the story of Germany, in fact. Hi, Mike. Happy birthday. I just gave you a shout out earlier. So I just want us to keep that in mind as we talk about our character today, who is very much involved in this question of Israel and Palestine. So, all right. So we're all human beings. We're all imbued with the image of God. We are all precious and important, okay? And anything that seeks to tear down, hey, how you doing? Seeks to tear that down, that's what I stand against, okay? So I'm for humanity. All right. So now that we've covered all of that, now that we've gotten that out of the way, we're going to talk about this character in What the Night Sings named Michah. Some of you may be pronouncing him Micah. That's fine, but it's Michah. So Michah is the quintessential hottie. He's the magnetic, tall, dark, and handsome boy. He's even the bad boy, except how bad can he be if he's trying to rescue his fellow Holocaust survivors and find them new homes? So that's who Michah is. He's racked with guilt over his inability to save his mother and his brother, and so he pours his energy into his activities as an operative of the Haganah, or the Jewish underground paramilitary. So I'm going to give you like a very brief bit of history of the Haganah. This is not exhaustive, okay? It's like one paragraph. So the Haganah was a Jewish paramilitary organization in Palestine that basically started as a security guard force guarding kibbutzes or kibbutzim and homes and farms. When the British were occupying Palestine in the 1920s, after they expelled the Ottoman Empire or put down the Ottoman Empire, there were a number of riots against Jews, and it was felt that the British army was too passive. So this force, much of which was part of Jewish members of the British Army, it was increased to protect these farms and homes. And during World War II, in addition to getting Jews out of Europe during the Holocaust, they were preparing for the possibility, the very real possibility, of an Axis invasion of Palestine. And again, when I say Palestine, I want to be clear that we're not talking about a country. There was not a country called Palestine. It was a region that was, subsequently occupied by many different forces. So there were Jews and Arabs and Christians, living there for 2 millennia. So, but in Palestine, they were preparing for the possibility of an Axis invasion. And the British had severely limited Jewish immigration to Palestine during their occupation. And it's hard to think like how many lives could have been saved if they hadn't limited that immigration. And, that has application for us today. Eventually, when the modern state of Israel was formalized, the Haganah evolved into what we now know of as the IDF, or the Israeli Defense Force, which is the Israeli army. So that's a little bit of background and history. So Michah, as I said, he channels his grief and anger over the loss of his family toward this singular goal of getting Jews out of Europe. But why did he have to get Jews out of Europe? Once the war was over, didn't the Nazi problem go away? They were defeated, right? Well, not so fast. So Michah gives us a little history lesson here in chapter 20, and I'm just going to read this briefly. All right. Where do you plan to go, he asks. I don't know. This is him talking to Goethe, by the way. I don't know, somewhere with a conservatory. If not in Germany, then Paris, Milan. You're just telling yourself that, he says. There's no place for Jews in Europe anymore. I can't believe that. You haven't been outside the camps. Believe me, Europe is a hollow shell full of hollow men. Let me ask you, what do you know about Eretz Yisrael? I roll my eyes. Oh, of course. You're not one of those destiny types, are you? I say, trying to tell myself I'm not one of those either. I'm from the Haganah, the underground. Shh, he winks. The underground, I huff? What's the point? The Nazis are gone. Why be so secretive? Why not go back to Cologne and start again? I did go back. Cologne is a total ruin. And where exactly do you think the Nazis went? They're back home, sweetheart, getting their jobs back. Still in charge, but without the brown shirts. Do you think that once you get out of here, your neighbors will suddenly be in their right minds just because the war is over? That you'll somehow emerge into a sane world? I guess I never thought about it. Well, you have to face it. There's a past here, but no future. In a Jewish homeland, we'll have both. It's the only place we can go. And if enough of us join together, we can protect each other, our own army, our own schools, where we don't always have to convince our neighbors that we don't in fact poison wells or make matzah out of the blood of Gentile children, where this can't possibly happen again. Haven't you ever thought about it? I'm German, I whisper shout. I'm growing angrier and I don't even know why. My family's been here for centuries. Why shouldn't I stay in Europe? Because they'll always see us as foreigners. But now that the world knows what the Nazis did to us, come on, Michah, we're not hidden in the shadows anymore. Slowly but surely we'll rebuild our lives, and what will happen if all the Jews leave? Then what? Then we're just a distant unknown to them, and yes, then the whole thing could happen again. We have to go back. Oh, my pretty little friend, Michah says, smiling with his mouth but not his eyes. Don't you know your own history? So with that, there's a little bit of Michah. And I'll let you read the book to find out what his story is and what the relationship between he and Goethe. It gets kind of fun, actually, after that. So with any contentious issue like the Israeli-Palestinian issue, it's so important for us to look at the facts. And believe me, when I was writing What the Night Sings, it was a chore for a while to distill through, the punditry and the emotion, and, on both sides. It's a very contentious issue. And it was really, really difficult to try to sift through and get to the facts of what actually happened historically, just day to day. This happened on this date, this happened on this date. It's actually quite hard. It takes some homework. So, but it is worth doing the homework with any of these issues, with any political issue especially. And it's really important to go to primary sources where you can. So the last thing I'll just say is I used to be a lot more vocal on social media, but lest I call it a festering cesspool of toxic emotional waste. Oh, sorry, did I say that? I'll just say this. It's probably not the most helpful place to discuss these things, at the very least. As with most things, the best place to have difficult discussions is not Twitter. It's not through the mediation of a device. It's face-to-face. Even you and I, as we're doing this, we're not quite face-to-face, right? You can DM me, you can leave questions or comments in the comment section, but that doesn't take the place of us getting together, sitting on the couch, sharing a cup of coffee, and really looking each other in the eye and seeing each other's humanity, right? So while I may post the occasional political tweet or put something on my dormant Facebook at this point, the last few years between the election and all of these things have really shown me the importance of relational context. Hey, how are you doing? So there are conversations that I'm having privately that I'm not having publicly, and I won't have publicly. And that's okay. That's really actually appropriate. If all of us took these really heated emotions and these really contentious topics and these really emotional topics that we care about, and we were to take them into the context of our homes and have people in our homes caring for them, feeding them, showing hospitality and being kind, even as we disagree, that is the better thing to do. As the saying goes, I would rather light a candle than curse the darkness. So, there we have it today. Thanks for weathering through that difficult topic with me. We can absolutely have more conversation about this. DM me, no problem. This can be an ongoing conversation. I'm an open book. I'm willing to go there. So, again, let me know what your thoughts are regarding Michah or Goethe or Lev or any of the characters in What the Night Sings, as well as any of your questions about writing. If you need advice about illustration, I'm happy to give advice where I can. And again, thank you for reading What the Night Sings. And please, if you've read it, leave a review on Goodreads or Amazon. That is like gold to a writer. Reviews are like gold, especially, on Amazon. It really helps. It's gotten fantastic ratings so far. Amazon's got almost a 5-star rating for What the Night Sings, and I'm so honored by that. So really, thank you. And if you'd like to have me come do an author visit in your community, just message me and we'll talk about, setting that up. And as always, thank you for remembering with me. Join me on Patreon. Join the giveaway next week. And thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate you sticking with me and for Vesperisms. And we'll see you next Tuesday, if not before. Okay, bye-bye.